Have you ever felt like you've been living someone else's life? Like every choice you made was shaped by invisible hands, pushing you toward a version of happiness that never truly felt your own? You wake up, go through the motions, smile when expected, achieve what others call success, and yet, at the end of the day, something inside you still whispers, "This isn't it." It's a quiet ache, one you try to ignore, but it follows you everywhere. It hides beneath laughter, behind goals, inside the spaces between your thoughts. You've tried to silence it with distractions, work, relationships, plans for the future. But no matter what you do, it lingers. That small, restless voice asking, what if there's more? You see, most people spend their entire lives trying to escape that question. They drown it in noise because the truth it points to is uncomfortable. Because it forces them to face the possibility that they've built their entire life on illusions. Illusions of control, of certainty, of who they think they are. But not you. You're still here, listening. Which means you've felt that quiet discomfort, and you're ready to face it. You're ready to understand why you can have everything you thought you wanted and still feel empty. And the moment you're brave enough to look at that emptiness, not as a flaw but as a doorway, everything begins to change. The truth is, you were taught to chase shadows. From the moment you could think, you were told that meaning lies somewhere out there, that happiness is a goal, peace a reward, love something to earn. You were trained to run, to collect achievements, titles, experiences, as if the right combination would finally unlock contentment. But the more you collect, the more it slips away. You start to realize that the more you chase, the further you drift from what you're truly seeking. Because what you're looking for isn't out there at all. It's the space between all the noise, the awareness that's been watching it unfold from the beginning. You've been conditioned to believe that stillness means stagnation, that slowing down means failure. But maybe, just maybe, the thing you've been trying so hard to reach has been standing quietly inside you, waiting for you to stop running. The world told you to become someone. But what if the real freedom begins when you stop trying to become anything at all? What if the moment you let go of who you think you should be, you finally meet who you truly are? Think about it. Every moment of striving, every ounce of tension, it's all built on the belief that something is missing, that you are missing something. But the ache you feel isn't proof of your lack, it's the call of your own awareness trying to wake you up. It's life reminding you that you're not separate from it. You never were. The same intelligence that makes the stars burn and the oceans rise is the same force breathing through you right now. You're not here to control life. You're here to experience it, to witness it unfold moment by moment through the lens of consciousness itself. And yet, that's the hardest truth to accept, because we've been taught to fear surrender. We think letting go means giving up, when in reality, it's the beginning of true freedom. When you stop fighting to define yourself, to prove your worth, something incredible happens. You begin to feel alive again. Not because you've gained something new, but because you've finally stopped resisting what already is. All the years of searching, all the anxiety, all the pressure to be more, they dissolve when you realize you were never supposed to become anything. You were only meant to be. That's the secret hidden in plain sight. The one people spend a lifetime missing. The stillness you've been avoiding isn't empty. It's full. It's where life actually happens. So if you've ever felt lost, if you've ever wondered why you keep reaching but never arriving, know this. The search ends when the seeker disappears. When the noise fades and you finally hear that faint whisper inside, stop running. Because the peace you've been chasing isn't waiting somewhere in the future. It's here. It's been here all along. And once you feel it, once you recognize it, you'll never look at life the same way again. The moment you stop running, something inside you shifts. At first, it feels like silence. Then it becomes clarity. You begin to see that the chaos wasn't coming from the world. It was coming from the stories you believed about yourself. Stories that told you you're not enough, that you have to earn peace, that you need to prove your worth before you can rest. but you were never meant to live in constant battle with your own mind. You were meant to see beyond it, because when you stop identifying with the storm, you realize you were the sky all along, unmoved, boundless, infinite. And that realization changes everything. Suddenly, every problem that once felt unbearable loses its weight. Every fear that once controlled you begins to fade. You see that nothing you've ever lost was truly yours to begin with. You start to understand that control was never the point. Connection was. Connection to yourself, to others. To this strange, beautiful flow of life that keeps moving whether you fight it or not. The pain, the confusion, the struggle, they were never punishments. They were the lessons that led you here, the universe's way of breaking the illusion piece by piece until you could finally see the truth staring back at you. But don't mistake awakening for comfort. It's not soft. It's not easy. It's the dismantling of everything false within you. The ego will fight. It will tell you you're losing yourself, when really you're shedding what you never were. The voice that whispers, you can't change, is the same voice that fears your freedom. Because once you see, you can't unsee. Once you wake up, you can't go back to pretending. And that's terrifying, for a while, because truth demands that you let go of the familiar pain that once defined you. But on the other side of that letting go, there's something indescribable, a calm that doesn't depend on circumstances, a strength that doesn't shout, a love that doesn't need a reason. The question isn't whether life will challenge you. It will. The question is whether you'll meet it with resistance or with presence. Because presence changes everything. It turns ordinary moments into sacred ones. It transforms pain into wisdom. It allows you to see that every ending is just another form of beginning. The moment you stop wishing things were different, you discover the power to live fully, right here, right now. And that's where freedom lives, not in escape, but in acceptance, not in running away, but in showing up completely. Most people wait their entire lives for permission to live. They wait for the right timing, the right feeling, the right set of circumstances. But life doesn't wait. It's happening now, in this breath, in this heartbeat, in this very moment you're watching this. Every second spent waiting is a second of life unlived. And if you don't decide who you are, the world will do it for you. So choose. Choose to wake up. Choose to stop being a spectator in your own story. Because you are not a victim of life, you are life itself, unfolding in real time. There's a version of you waiting on the other side of fear, the one who no longer clings, no longer hides, no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. That version is already within you, buried under years of conditioning and doubt. You don't have to create it. You just have to remember it. Every time you face discomfort with openness instead of resistance, that version grows stronger. Every time you choose truth over appearance, love over ego, stillness over noise, you return to who you were meant to be. And maybe that's what it took 40 years to realize, that the meaning of life isn't found in what you gain, but in what you let go of. You let go of the need to control. You let go of the chase for validation. You let go of the illusion that peace is somewhere else. Because when there's nothing left to hold on to, you finally feel what's been holding you all along. Life, pure and unfiltered. You can't own it. You can only experience it. You can only become aware of it. So stop searching for answers and start listening. Listen to the silence behind your thoughts. Listen to the pulse of the present moment. It's not empty, it's everything. This is where you find yourself. This is where truth begins. Because the secret isn't out there in someone's words or wisdom. It's right here, in the space between your thoughts, waiting for you to remember what you've always been. Most people think awakening is some distant destination, a moment when everything suddenly makes sense, when pain disappears and peace takes its place. But that's the illusion. Awakening isn't an escape, it's the courage to see reality as it is, without the filters of fear and desire. It's the moment you stop running from what you feel and allow life to touch you completely. Every fear, every failure, every heartbreak. It's all part of the same unfolding. You don't have to fight it anymore. You don't have to pretend. You're not scared. You only have to stop resisting what is. Because what you resist doesn't just persist. It defines you. And the moment you let it in, the moment you stop hiding from the truth, it loses its power. That's the paradox of awakening. You stop trying to fix yourself, and suddenly everything starts to heal. You stop trying to find meaning, and meaning begins to reveal itself. You realize that all along it wasn't life holding you back. It was you clinging to who you thought you had to be. The masks, the roles, the endless striving, they were never you. You wore them to survive. You wore them to be loved. But now they're heavy, and somewhere inside, you know it's time to let them go. Because there's nothing left to prove, nothing left to defend. You've spent so long trying to become someone, but now you're being asked to do something far greater. To be no one, to dissolve into the flow of existence itself, and let it move through you without resistance. This is where real freedom begins, when you realize that nothing in the external world can give you what you've been looking for. The chase ends. The endless loop of wanting and worrying starts to fade. And in that quiet, something extraordinary happens. You begin to feel alive again. Not because life changed, but because you did. You stopped trying to bend the river, and you learned to flow with it. You stopped asking life to make sense, and you started to trust that it already does. That's the shift. The one that takes you from living as a frightened fragment to realizing you are the whole. The universe looking at itself through human eyes. But understanding this isn't enough. You have to live it. You have to embody it every single day. When fear rises, you face it. When pain visits, you welcome it. When uncertainty surrounds you, you breathe into it. Because every time you resist what is, you separate yourself from life. And separation is the root of all suffering. The mind will try to convince you that surrender means weakness. But the truth is, surrender is the highest form of strength. It takes power to let go. It takes faith to trust the unknown. It takes courage to stop fighting what you don't understand and simply say, yes. The moment you stop struggling to control life, life begins to reveal its deeper intelligence. You see patterns where you once saw chaos. You find beauty in what once looked broken. You realize every loss was never punishment, but preparation. Every ending was a beginning in disguise. Everything that ever fell apart did so to make room for what was meant to grow. That's how life works. It breaks you open so you can finally see, so you can stop searching for meaning and start becoming it. And this is where your power truly awakens, not in what you can control, but in what you can release. The world may still be uncertain, but you are no longer lost in it. You've become the still point in the turning world, the awareness behind the noise, the quiet center that watches without fear, without needing to grasp or to hold. You realize that peace was never about perfect circumstances. It was about perfect presence. And once you find that presence, you can walk through fire and not be burned. This is the truth that takes a lifetime to learn, but only a moment to feel. That you are not here to chase life. You are here to experience it fully, to feel its weight and wonder, to breathe deeply into the mystery of being alive. Because once you awaken to that, nothing else compares. You no longer wait for peace. You become it. You no longer seek love. You are it. You no longer ask life for meaning. You live as the meaning itself. There comes a point when realizing the truth is no longer enough. You have to live it. Awareness means nothing if it doesn't change how you move through the world. You can't keep understanding life with your mind while refusing to feel it with your soul. You can't keep talking about letting go while clinging to everything familiar. Life doesn't reward what you know, it responds to what you embody. You say you want peace, but are you willing to stop feeding the noise? You say you want freedom, but are you ready to release control? These are not questions for your intellect. They're calls to your spirit, because knowing the path and walking it are not the same. And most people stop at knowing. They mistake awareness for awakening. But awakening begins the moment you act differently, even when it terrifies you. Every moment of your life is asking you to choose fear or trust, resistance or flow, pretending or presence. And with each choice, you either reinforce the illusion or dissolve it. There's no neutral ground. You're either deepening your separation or awakening to your wholeness. That's why life keeps repeating its lessons. It's not punishing you, it's inviting you to remember. It will send you the same pain until you stop running from it. It will give you the same disappointments until you learn to detach. It will test your patience, your faith, your willingness to surrender. Because that's how truth becomes real. You can't think your way into transformation. You must live your way into it. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Growth always is. Because everything false within you must burn for the real to emerge. You can't carry old identities into a new state of being. You have to release them, one by one, until nothing remains but the raw essence of who you are. That's why most people never make it. They turn back the moment things start to crumble. But what they don't see is that the crumble is the becoming. The collapse of the false is not destruction, it's purification. The universe breaks you open not to punish you, but to free you from the walls you built around your own heart. If you can stay open through the breaking, something extraordinary happens. You begin to live without the weight of the past. You stop needing life to make sense. You stop demanding guarantees. And in that surrender, you discover an unshakable peace, the kind that doesn't depend on outcomes, the kind that doesn't disappear when circumstances change. You become untouchable, not because life gets easier, but because you no longer fight it. You no longer confuse the waves for the ocean. You finally realize you were never drowning. You are only learning how to breathe underwater. But don't wait. Don't tell yourself you'll awaken someday, when things settle, when life slows down, when it feels easier. That day never comes. Because life isn't waiting for you. It's happening now. Right now, as you listen to this, the opportunity to wake up is here. Every breath is an invitation to return to the present. Every moment is a doorway into awareness. The only question is whether you'll walk through it, whether you'll stop postponing your own freedom, and start living as the awareness that's always been watching, patiently waiting for you to remember. You don't need another plan. You don't need another reason. You just need to stop believing the lie that peace is somewhere else, that you'll find it after you achieve, after you fix, after you heal. No. Peace isn't a reward, it's your nature. The more you chase it, the further you drift from it. The only way to reach it is to stop running, stop grasping, stop becoming. Just be here. Now. In this moment. Feel the weight of being alive. Feel the miracle of existence pulsing through you. That's all there ever was. That's all there ever will be. So breathe. Let it all go. The struggle, the story, the endless search. You don't have to become anything to be whole. You already are. You've just forgotten. But the forgetting was part of the journey too, because without it you would have never known the joy of remembering. And that's what this entire journey was leading you to. The realization that what you've been searching for has always been you. The moment you remember who you are, everything changes. The world doesn't suddenly become perfect, but your relationship with it does. You stop seeing life as something happening to you and start realizing it's happening through you. You begin to understand that the power you've been waiting for has been breathing inside you all along. Every time you hesitated, every time you doubted, it wasn't because you lacked strength. It was because you forgot your source. You forgot that you are not the storm. You are the awareness watching it. You forgot that you are not separate from life. You are its living expression. And once you remember, the illusion of powerlessness shatters. You've been told that peace means safety, that it's found in stability, control, and order. But real peace has nothing to do with safety. It's the courage to remain open in the face of chaos, to trust life even when it doesn't make sense, to love even when it hurts, to stay present when everything in you wants to run. Because when you stop escaping, life finally meets you where you are. It shows you that the very moments you thought would break you were actually molding you. that the darkness you feared was simply the space where light was preparing to enter. But you must choose it, over and over again, because the mind will always tempt you back into comfort, back into the familiar suffering that feels safer than the unknown. It will whisper that you're not ready, that you need more time, more proof, more control. Don't listen. That voice isn't truth, it's memory. It's the echo of a self that no longer exists. You've outgrown it. You don't need its protection anymore. You are not here to survive. You are here to awaken. And awakening doesn't happen tomorrow. It happens now, in this breath, in this choice, in this moment, where you decide to stop betraying your own soul. Every second you spend doubting your power, life mirrors the doubt back to you. It keeps showing you obstacles, delays, detours, not because you're cursed, but because it's waiting for you to remember. The moment you stand firm in your awareness, reality begins to shift. Not because you're forcing it, but because alignment naturally creates flow. The outer world bends to match the clarity within. That's the secret. Life is not responding to what you want. It's responding to what you are. And when you embody truth, when you live from presence, you become untouchable. Not because you control life, but because you've become one with it. The world will still test you. You'll still face loss, rejection, uncertainty, but you'll no longer crumble under them. Because you'll see what's beneath the surface. You'll recognize that pain is not punishment, it's purification. Every wound becomes sacred, every scar a doorway into deeper awareness. You'll stop fearing endings because you'll finally understand they're just beginnings wearing different faces. And from that understanding, a new strength is born. A strength that doesn't come from effort, but from surrender. The kind that doesn't shout, but radiates. The kind that doesn't chase, but attracts. So don't look away. Don't numb it. Don't rush past it. Don't distract yourself from what hurts. Go deeper. Because beyond the discomfort lies the truth of your being. Beyond the fear lies freedom. Beyond the noise lies silence. And that silence is where you'll find yourself again. Everything you've been searching for is waiting for you there. Not in the future, not in the next achievement. Here, in this exact moment. It took a lifetime to forget. It takes one moment to remember, one moment to drop the illusion, to stop pretending, to finally see. And when that moment comes, and it will, you'll laugh at how simple it always was. You'll realize that the search was never a mistake. It was the path. Every detour was divine. Every fall was necessary. Because without losing yourself, you could have never known the ecstasy of being found. So breathe. Let life move through you. Let go of everything you thought you needed to become. You are already complete. You are already home.